Hello, I hope you're doing well. Can't believe we're in our fourth week, well, actually in our fifth week this summer because last week was a relaxing week. But fourth week of summer math. This week's going to be focused on fractions. Um, the nice thing about fractions is, I know you've had a year of them, and I know for some of us they immediately made sense. For others, I know it's still an area we're developing, but it's also an area where if you allow yourself to stop and think, fractions can be friendly, just like adding and subtracting whole numbers or multiplying and dividing whole numbers. Because we think about equivalent fractions, so if I gave you 1/2, well, 1/2, numerator's 1, denominator's 2. If I wanted to keep it equivalent, let's think about 1/2. Well, as long as I multiply the numerator and denominator by the same, it's going to stay equivalent. So then that could be 2/4. So we think about 1/2. If I broke them into parts of 2, now you have 2/4. What if you say, well, I want to multiply them by 3? Well, then we could have 3/6. We could have 4/8. 5/10. The consistent thing is whatever I multiply the numerator by, I have to multiply the denominator by because I want it to be an equivalent value. And we can always show an image to make sure that that's making sense. So it can keep evolving throughout the problem. So we think about 4/8. Think about how 4/8 would look. It isn't 4/8, so 4 out of 8 parts is the same as 1/2. And we can do 5/10, 3/6. So that's the equivalent fractions piece. Just remember, whatever you do numerator, do denominator, because it's equivalent, because they're both the same value. Because think about it, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Anything times 1 is itself. So you're technically multiplying, when you say 2 over 2, you're technically multiplying by 1. Now, when we add and subtract fractions, we have to say to ourselves, remember, if somebody told you I'm going to add 1/2 to 2/3. So if I had a half a pint of ice cream and a friend of mine gave me 2/3 and we bring it together, well, 1/2, I had 2/3. Well, right now my units are not the same. I'm not comparing the same units. So in other words, as I think of numbers as language, I'm not speaking the same language. But if I actually find a common denominator, so I know that 6, right? Because 2, 4, 6, I know 3, 6, so my common denominator is 6. So the common denominator is 6. I know that 1/2 is the same as 3/6. 2/3 is the same as 4/6. Common error is some people write down the common denominator and then they write down the numerator. They don't make it an equivalent fraction. Remember, once you realize how you got to your 6, didn't you multiply it out 3 times? Well, it's 3 times 1, 3. How'd you get to 6? 2 times, right? 2 times. So 2 times 2 is 4. So 3/6 plus 4/6 is 7/6. Or you can write it as 1 and 1/6. Remember, whether you're adding or subtracting, you still need a common denominator because you need your numbers to talk the same language. Again, have some fun with this. This whole week is based on fractions. You're also going to have an opportunity to put fractions on a number line. And remember, when you put fractions on a number line, to create an anchor. So if you have an open number line, you're going to put 1/2 on there. You're going to put, let's say, 1 and 1/8 on there. So you're going to put 2/3 on there. Well, it might help you before you do anything to say, okay, what are the two extremes? Well, I know I don't have a 0, so let me write down 0. I know 1 and 1/8, so I know it could go up to as much as 2. Because then from there I could say, well, what's halfway between 0 and 2? Well, 1. So where does the 1/2 fall? Well, 1/2 is halfway between 0 and 1. 1/8, 1 and 1/8, well, I'd have to think about 1 and 1/8, so wouldn't 1 and 8 be about there? Actually, I might be off by a little. Might be a little bit of further over, closer to the 1. And then 2/3 would be about there. But again, find your anchor numbers. So think about taking the numbers they have. Say, okay, so for me, I picked 0 and 2 for this example, and then I broke it down from there. Sometimes, you just want to put something in the middle and work from there. It's whatever works best for you. But remember, the anchor numbers might help guide you before you actually proportionally put them on the number line. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, send an email. Happy to talk and answer, and be safe.